Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Noding. The other day on Twitter, I saw a structure. It's kind of looking something like this, and I thought, okay, I might be able to recreate that using Spectrum nodes in Blender. It's a quite interesting structure. It's made up of uh, three different parts, and you can see there's this spiraling stairs, and there's these things, and it's basically like an array of objects, but each part of them can be recreated using Spectrum nodes, and this is the one of the setup. Okay, so let's take a look very quickly. So I have these alpha objects, and I could actually just merge it for now, so it's simpler, and also this beta. So now we only have four different parts. So I started actually by using the spiral stairs, and let's turn on, okay, change the shadow a little bit. Okay, so this spiral stairs, and the spiral stairs is actually simply just a plane, and plane have segmentations on the edges, so it creates this bevel, and I could adjust the bevel. So it's very simple objects. Okay, and I simply use this in the way I create the bevel. I'm transforming the mesh, so it's actually for the mask of the scaling. So I mask the scaling so I can get these shapes, and this kind of mask can also be used for the vertices mask if you like to have something that's sharp like that. So let me actually create another mask. So we can have rounded shapes there, and then sharper corner there if you like. Okay, and so that's the basic of these objects, and I have the scale control, and I have this offset control. So the next thing I did after I bevel it is I just simply use solidify. This is for the height. So that objects to be made into mesh, I use just a bunch of matrices, and the matrices, of course, it involves movement locations, and I'm using just simple line, so I can just collapse that. I have these lines that I can control and repositions, and this line have uh, control over the height this way, and then we have control over the spiral, how many we want for this. I can keep going with that, but it's I didn't make limit for the bottom part, for this part. So that's for the spiral stair, and I simply merge it. If I didn't merge it, it simply become separate objects. So that's one. Um, and I also have control for the spiraling thing. So it's basically another value. Each of the components is adjustable. So the second part, I have this circle, and basically the same thing. This is how I created the spiral. I could adjust the angle, of these objects, of these part shapes. So that's the offset, that's the angle. The actual shape itself, you might guess it is actually a circle, and it's only half of the circle. I could make it becoming like a vector circle, but this is just a simple circle, and I scale it up, and I'm using the this UV connection just to get just the shape of the circle without the edges. And we have these extrude edges. That's why we have this shape. So you can tweak it as you like. Then I rewire it, kind of flip the circle, and I move it. So that's the offset. And then I use solidify, of course. It's very basic. Solidify and basically to add thickness to this shape. And the next thing it's there's move. I think this move is something to do with the offset and solidify. The rest of them, as you can already guess. So I give a color for parameters that can be adjusted just to make things a little bit cleaner. So the next thing, the other components is just basically the base and the ring. I could really just make it much cleaner for each shapes, like if I group it. So let's take a look at this one first. This one seems slightly complicated. So I have circle and ring. This ring color also needs to be green, I think. Let's make it cleaner. So that's the ring part, and also the top and the bottom part. This can be much cleaner. This is like super rough, and for example, if this ring is always going to be on the top and this base is always going to be on the bottom, you can set some kind of bounding box that knows the position of the top and the bottom based on this part, for example, and the part that goes around shouldn't be overlapping. And there's of course all kind of numbers to make this structure believable and works, and you can actually print it out using cardboard. Okay, so yeah, so that's basically it that I want to share with you. So for things like, it's a good idea to always have indicator for the parameter, so you can then use this parameter and bring it into 3D view, so you can adjust it over here using SphereChalk. So there's this clean layout that scan for input and output, and for things like this, we can bring it into 3D view and make adjustment. This is just like a cleaning up jobs. So each one of them can be parametric and kind of nice. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much for this spin structure. Like I said, it's just a bit of exercise. It's nothing too complicated with it. If you know something like SphereChalk, you can basically create your own geometries. Any type of geometry can be created procedurally. Some shapes might be a little bit complicated, but for most of the shapes, like the primitive shapes, is already available. with sphere chalk. Sometimes with I believe with things like this, it's a good idea to keep the lines clean. Like I said, this usually only involve framing. Selecting this and then put it, Control J, put it in the frame and give it a color, so you know that's okay, that's mesh and this is the matrix, and then you just put them together. So here I have the matrix at the top and goes crisscrossing like it doesn't look quite nice, can be tidied up. And I have two other shapes. Alright, so there you go. That's a quick breakdown of this spin structure. Hopefully this is useful for you in the future. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.